Okay, folks, I'm back with another video. Finally, after all the bullshit that I went through, my wife was sick, and of course, being the man, not I'm joking, but no, my wife was sick, and I had to like be her caretaker for a few days. She's just not now getting back into working, and myself will go back to work on this Monday, and that's why it's been such a gap in videos because of just been going through a lot. So I hope, I noticed that I got one more subscribers. I went from 58 to 59. So, all you people that's just been waiting patiently, I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about a very niche, close to heart subject with me. We are going to talk about can you be conservative and can you be punk rock? Used as an adjective and not just a genre of music. The best way to describe punk rock and all its associated kinds of music is fast surf music with fast drum beats, a lot of very catchy tunes, a lot of hooks, and just loud, fast, ambitious, surf inspired rock music, except turned up to the 10. And back when punk rock first came out, of course, it was the emo before emo. It was the alternative before alternative. I think after the hippie movement kind of failed, and a lot of hippies from the '60s became pretty much a bunch of right wing dipshits. A lot of punks stepped up like this peace and love and do things their way and stuff was replaced by more militant anarchist movement started in the early '80s by people who listened to punk rock. Most often, people say the big influences of leftism in punk rock are bands like the Dead Kennedys or personalities like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, which kind of kick-started punk rock association with a very left-leaning and anti-establishment people, some of which most punks see outside of the political spectrum of conservatism and liberalism and are leftists of some variety. I'm sure some are just like communists and socialists, but I feel like the most associated political ideology for people who claim to be punk is anarchism. So why am I talking about this? Because we've seen lately that a lot of people claim to be, and this video can go for these people too that just generally do it. They claim to be anti-establishment. They claim to be the new punk rock. They claim to just be punk rock because they're being offensive or they're saying things that they're not supposed to say, and they are saying that they are some type of new rebel group that's standing against the so-called status quo. These people, at the end of the day, if you ask me, cannot be punk rock for the same reason right-wing populism is just fascism. Populism, as you can see it described here, is just when you try to appeal to working class people's concerns and you talk to them about how the greater establishment ignores their problems and stuff, the socioeconomic issues experienced by working class people. Building off that further when it comes to right wing populism, they often at a time, and this is, here we go, why it can't be punk rock, and while right wing populism is just fascism, because left wing political ideologies, whether it's social democracy, whether it's anarchism, communism, socialist, and even some further to the left leaning liberals, seek to ameliorate the actual concerns of working class people, socioeconomic inequality. For instance, left wing groups endorse things like unionizing. They often endorse things like food drives and just more unity in the community of helping people. They are very disgusted by bigotry of any kind, be it sexism, homophobia. They stand above people when it comes to social standards and stuff, like people hanging out with people that's a different race than them, or so-called heteronormativity and allowing people to express themselves on a wider spectrum, while right-wing populism, if you ask me in my opinion, and so-called right-wing punks like Dwayne Peters, the guys that are into Smut Peddlers, the band Combat 84, seek to reinforce the biases and the issues that people deal with in society. For some odd reason, we have a lot of people going around talking about fake issues that really don't hurt working class people. Like, for instance, a lot of people, let me see if I can get it right here. This is a very new term, but we'll get to why this is important right now. So a lot of people think that they're fighting a deep state or a matrix. which if you and which in turn to me, let me see if Matrix for Andrew Tate has a page. Political turn. Yeah, alt-right youth have turned to calling things the Matrix. But anyway, my point is being, when you're fighting things like deep state, the Matrix, or as is more probably known, cultural. Let me see. Or so-called cultural Marxism, you're not fighting against problems that actually hurt working class people. In fact, you leading yourself down the road to things like neo-Nazism, anti-Semitism, and hatred of other working class people do nothing against the biases against working class people in society, and seek to reinforce biases of white supremacy, of class hierarchy, of heteronormativity, and of just playing continuing the status quo, or even making things worse. Because you best believe when people turn to this is Google spelling of Mussolini. I know it's an O. Don't ask me why they did that. I don't know. But you seek to reinforce the biases that people deal with in society. Because, for instance, the Matrix and Deep State to me and cultural Marxism are just code words for anti-Semitism. Blaming or persecuting Jewish people or any other group for the problems that people see in society will not fix our society, and it will not make our lives better in any way, shape, or form. Again, this will reinforce those biases and create a society that ironically will still have a lot of the same problems. While left-wing populism and left-wing thoughts seek to actually come up with solutions and ways to fix these problems. And I guess all in all, that's why you can't be a right-wing populist, and that's why conservatism is in no way, shape, or form punk rock. Because when you're chasing fake problems like deep states, matrices, or cultural Marxism, you ironically are not focusing on the actual issues of people that are causing problems these days. And when I say actual issues causing problems nowadays, before I end this video, I'm talking about the wealthy businessmen. And that's regardless of what race they are. That's everybody from Jay-Z, that's to any Jewish record label owner, that's to any white business owner. These people are the people, and that includes black wealthy people, that are reinforcing the biases that are creating the problems in society. What do I mean by that, for instance? Because a lot of people will say, like, yes, corporations are bad because yesterday Kraft Mac and Cheese had a commercial with a Hispanic family on it, or a gay person, or trans person, or or an interracial couple. That's a famous one right there, or a lesbian couple. And a lot of people will say, like, yes, corporations are bad because they're not providing, a representation of the average American. No. All these people that I just listed previously are your average American. These people exist in society and always have existed. Corporations are not bad because their marketing goes awry from your white picket fence sticking to assness. Corporations are bad because they exploit workers and their consumers for their profit. That's everything from media to food to to the entertainment industry. That's why corporations are bad. And that's the true nature of anti-corporatism that should be followed in line to be a proper populace that appeals to the concerns of a working class person. And again, right-wing punks don't do this. They often at a time will, do the same thing as your typical right-wing person does, and appeal to invisible problems and shit that doesn't matter, like matrices, deep states, and what's the last one? Cultural Bolshevism or cultural Marxism, whichever neo-Nazi conspiracy theory that makes them happy. And that in turn is why you can't be conservative and punk, because right-wing populism is just fascism.